Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back in the building. New month, new flavor, new energy. You know, new everything else. You know what I'm saying? So we live and direct. Hayward CPA live coming to you from the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Central North Carolina region. But our reach is worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Like that. We worldwide out here. So good to be here, man. What's good
So,
with you? Yo, we actually got a breaking temperature today. I think a
yeah,
little something.
yeah,
A little,
it's pretty decent right now.
yeah, it's
That
doing something.
carry us through the day,
Yeah, for sure. So we get it going, man. So I am James Hayward, CPA, along with the head coach, Coach K, Biz Therapy Coaching, in the building.
What up? What up?
you
Come
know,
on, come on.
and this is Hayward CPA Live. I thought it was going to change the name. That was for 1 week only. Came back. Had to keep the natural flair going.
Yeah.
So we back. It's this is the official podcast of Hayward CPA PLLC out of Durham, North Carolina, a virtual firm that services growth-minded business owners and those that want to find their North Star. And today we have a great discussion. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to teach you some things about something that people message about privately. They don't want to get on and say anything about it. They don't want anybody to know. But they want to they're behind. They're behind.
Mhm.
Unfiled business tax returns. Unfiled returns. And they start whispering like, hey, you know, uh you're talking real low. Hey, yeah, so I haven't filed in like, 10 years. So, um, yeah, well, you talk to them more than me, but people come in, they say they want to, do that. So today we're going to talk about, unfiled business tax returns, what you do, and a resolution, how you should go about fixing it, what happens, why it happens.
You want to talk about the flow so you know
Exactly. That's
where to
that's a
go.
great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Like understanding why it happens. And I mean, and realistically, let's talk about it. Why does it happen? Now, people. One thing I will say, everything tax and financial in the United States, it becomes a lot of judgment around it. There's a whole lot of judgment of, oh, I haven't done my stuff, this, that. They're gonna come get me. They're gonna send someone to come get me. I'm going to jail. All that, especially with taxes. Everybody thinks they're going to jail for taxes. Well, chances are you're not going to jail for taxes. I'm just lay that out there. But let's be realistic. Business gets busy. The bookkeeper leaves, or you never had a bookkeeper or
90%
established
of the
any
time.
bookkeeping.
90% of the time.
Yeah, 90% of the time there is no bookkeeper. Then one missed year turns into 2 to 3 to 10. Um, Part of that is because our system is voluntary, voluntary tax system. So, and then an IRS doesn't come see you the year that you miss. It might be 2 years before they say it. Like, I mean, we have businesses. I mean, this is plenty of businesses that we've worked with that doing well too. They just don't. They just haven't done it. Specifically with S-Corps or partnerships, even some C-Corps. They haven't done it. And doesn't make them bad people. They just don't get it. And I think that happens because it's not prioritized. It's not prioritized out here to you know, you know. I mean, well, basically to do the bookkeeping that leads to getting the taxes. It's not prioritized, and it should be. But for reasons other than just doing the taxes, that's what we go on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And and have you ever been putting off filing your returns? Drop a note in the chat. Let us know. It's nothing to be ashamed of, folks. It happens. It happens. There's some consequences, but it happens. But you know, I mean, like, it happens because we live in that world. People are behind. I just love how I don't love it, but it's just really interesting how we can calm their nerves, specifically you, when they come in. That's a good point. Tell the people. I mean, your thought process when somebody comes in with multiple years unfiled, like how you ease the pressure on them, how do you approach them, what do you say to them, what do you make them feel, how do you make them feel whole? It's
Can't make anybody feel whole, but first thing is, do they want ice in their water or not? So because you got to drink some water to calm down, right?
uh,
Sir, you like you said, people whisper, they call in, they schedule appointments. We talk to a lot of people, or quite a few, I should say, on a regular basis that have the
mhm.
same problems, and it's a you know they don't know us, right? They're familiar with us because they checked us out and they schedule an appointment. Um, and that's usually not the thing they lead with unless they got a letter, right?
Yeah,
That like comes in by the way, and then now it's like, all right, they're only gonna feed X amount of information because they don't want to feel judged, right? And
hmm
so I think it's about being able to make the room comfortable to remove judgment, right? Or the feeling of being judged, because that's not what it is. It's only money. You know what I
true.
mean? It's only money. You paying bills. You paying
Right.
bills, and you buying stuff, and you going on vacations, and you buying houses and cars and jewelry and clothes. It's just money. It's money. You don't feel like somebody should get that amount of money. I get that,
True
but
indeed.
it's just money. So just here's my motto: if it's just money and if you're not making no money, then it's a little challenging. So you got to try to get yourself together to make some money. I think we understand that very intimately ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's a snowball effect. Just don't let the snowball catch up to you as it's rolling down the mountain. Just make sure you stay out the way. And the only way you do that is just by making more money and getting yourself situated to pay that stuff over time.
Yeah.
But talk to a professional.
That,
HC. Yeah.
so I mean, but it's true. Because the thing about it is it's factual. All right, you haven't filed it. Okay. So what are you gonna do today? I mean, we can't go back in time. You have to file it. But one of the first things that you have to realize is that, and we're talking about business. Let me reframe this for a second and say we're talking about business entities, S corps, C corps, partnerships primarily. If you're a Schedule C filer, you I don't know, people not filed. Yeah, people tend not to file those too because they worry about, they get scared
Yeah.
because of the complexity. When it gets more complex, when I have a business now, so now it's more complex. So, but these other the three we named, the S corp partnership especially. Let's just focus on those because C corporations actually have their own world. But the S corp and the partnership are what we call flow throughs, and they flow through to your personal, to your 1040. So by not doing the business, you make both returns late, and it throws you off like in penalties because people are always worried about penalties. Um, you know, for the pass-through entities, there's a different type of penalty. It's the failure to file penalty is locked into the number of partners or shareholders in the S corp or the partnership, and that fee is $255 per partner or shareholder per month, even if you have zero income. So just not filing the return. If it's just you and you didn't file it, hey, you didn't make any money this year, but you have this S corporation that's set up and doing all that. It's $255 per month that you don't file after the deadline. I don't know about you, but you're giving away $250 even because you don't want to do a zero return. Well, that adds up. It adds up. Now imagine you have four partners or four members, four people that are getting some of the income. Now we're talking about $1,000 per month that you will owe for failing to file it. Now let's add that up over a couple of years. You see how this is working? you know, so now now you didn't, that's with we're using that scenario if you don't have revenue. But let's say you do have revenue and you choose not to file. Same scenario. We got the 1,000 in, but let's just say 100,000 was to flow through to your individual return, and you failed to file it. And because you didn't file it, you definitely didn't pay it. So for simplicity, I'm gonna say that the penalties of failure to file and failure to pay max out about 25% from your 1040. So you're talking about huge penalties, all because you didn't submit the form. But I want to talk about one of the comments that comes up the most. It says, "Well, I didn't make any money this year. Do I have to file?" The short answer is yes, you have to file. That's just how it is. Sorry. That's what we're doing out here. You have to file, which I think we just laid out, even if you made zero money. But when people say, I didn't make any money, often they talking about my personal money. I didn't bring any money home. So business didn't make any money for me. So do I need to file? That's usually what they mean. Well, yeah, that definitely. I don't care what you did, but you have to file your return, especially once you get an S corp or have a partnership. Heck, all of them, you got to file it. So that's and one of the things that I tell people this. This is my philosophy with like S corp. So people run out here. We talked about the LLC thing. They go get the LLC. They hype. They heard about having an S corp. I usually tell people to wait at least a year before going. If their revenue is not understood or they don't know what's going on, don't do it in the first year because you're taking an unnecessary expense. And look, if you don't get off the ground this year, now you have to file two tax returns, one of which is zero. And if you happen to not file your tax returns, now you're incurring penalties for something you made no money off of. It just gets out of control. And, let's give us a year. Let's see what happens. So, but people get to this. I didn't make any money. Do I have to file? That's one of the biggest things. Do I have to file? Do I have to file? I mean, I'm like, and then especially then you go look at their bank statements. They made like 300. They grossed $300,000 in the business, but they didn't make any money. But they think I don't have to file. Well, think again. So that's at stake. That's a lot of money, though. I mean, that's a lot of money. I don't like giving away money. I don't know about most people. I do not like giving away money. I don't see the point of it. I really don't understand. I'm not giving away $255 just because. That's just me. What do I know? I'm just saying. But people get into that point of view, and they they think they don't have to file. So that's what we established. You got to file your returns. So, and even if we want to take it to the Schedule C filers, hey, you need to file your return. I mean, the fact of the matter is, from a Schedule C filer, you're supposed to report net of $400 of self-employment income. Okay, so what that means is after returns or something, $400 in income. So those of you that think that, well, I didn't get a 1099, so do I have to file? Let's take a guess at that answer. Yes, which is why you're supposed to be keeping you're expected to keep record of the money that you bring in. Whoever you're contracting with is not your employer. It's there is a requirement for them to pay, but truthfully, I mean to file 1099s. But the reality is that the requirement really doesn't have to do with making sure you get the information. It has more to do with letting people know that they spent the money out and they transferred the income to you. But in IRS audits, they start at the bank account. So if you didn't get a 1099, but you collected $250,000 from your contractor and it's through the bank, and you say, "Oh, I didn't file because I didn't have a 1099," well, that's not going to fly. so, so, but that's a nugget. I want people to realize that net self-employment income of $400. If you're supposed to file tax return. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Thoughts, comments,
That's a good point there. That I don't know that most people know about the net 400. As simple as that is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to provide information. Like,
Absolutely.
no, but there it's serious. So it breaks down. So you get that, because there are all these different things that um people don't know. They don't know, they don't understand why they think they're supposed to. I don't know. It's interesting how people just think that, like, I think there's more about they expect to get like caught or something. Like they expect they expect something like they expect that the IRS is gonna be like on them. So that's how, like I don't know. It's weird. It's almost,
It's just the unknown. So it's fear of the unknown because they be making, I guess it's like get jail. So jail. I mean, jail. That's they worried about big people, not little people.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The IRS gonna lock me up.
But
Whatever.
also, I think it's the not knowing. It's not understanding. I mean, think about it like this, man. You know how easy it is to just go start a business, right?
Too easy. Yeah.
And you gotta ask yourself at a certain point, you're gonna go, why is it so easy for me to start a business? But then you have to understand that this whole country was based off of a business model. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it's evolved over decades. And so the word tax is just it's a word that should have been used fairly and educationally to understand how you keep things revolving around, not a target for people that don't have it or misuse of funds.
Yeah.
Which. So I think it's just an educational piece.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I agree.
You got
I'm
input,
just like, I mean,
input,
uh-oh. Yes,
in,
sir. Yeah. And for some reason, once again, I do not know why we did not end up on my Facebook page. I think there's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy out here. But we still over here on YouTube. So tell a friend to tell a friend we over here. But but that's why you can't. It's bizarre. I mean, but I want to add this too. Okay, so that people think, okay, I don't have to file it. Well, there's something that the IRS has called substitution for return. So let's assume let's assume that let's take the person that said they didn't make any money that year and combine that with somebody that did get the 1099. So our person that didn't make any money that year did get a 1099 for 50,000. But they didn't keep it, they had to pay out other subcontracts, whatever. So I didn't make any money, I'm not filing. This is where the substitution for return happens. Because if you don't do anything with it, you'll get notices and all this other stuff, whatever. Eventually, the IRS, or precisely the IRS computers, will just create a return for you based on the information that they've received from people that paid you, including this 50,000. This 50,000 will have no deductions against it, and you won't have any deductions, any credits or anything like that. It's a straight calculation. Your income against the tax rate for the most part. Now, the taxes are assessed. They're sitting there. Boom. As far as the IRS is concerned, the return is filed. You didn't pay. We're going to do the payment penalty. You still got the failure to file penalty. You've moved into the, we trying to collect protocol now. And so now you've got a big mess. Not only do you have to most likely go back and file to get all your proper deductions, you also had to go negotiate with the IRS about the penalties, if possible, to get them reduced. And a whole mess. This just for 1 year if you don't file. Now, let's say you do that for 3 years. Colossal mess. Terrible. Terrible. You're going to have a problem. Now, you may ask, I mean, how far back do I have to go? This isn't really debated because the IRS has a policy statement that says that you need to file the last 6 years. That's right. You heard it here. The last 6 years. So you go back 6 years. So if you haven't filed a return, like 2012, no one wants you. You haven't filed since then, and they haven't gotten you already. I mean, they haven't picked up on you. You go to the 6 years before. That's what you need to do. So still gonna be a pretty penny for you, but you got to go back 6 years. Then you come back. The other thing you also have to understand, and the you might be due a refund through all this. The scenario, we're gonna stick with the same person. That person probably is not due a refund because they didn't make any estimated payments. So they're not due a refund. But let's say that their spouse works and everything, and they could have been due a refund. The spouse, because they paid in through their W-2, they can get a refund. So then what happens is, if you don't file it within 3 years, you forfeit the refund. And there's no going back because they closed the year. So for this year, and it's 3 years from the the due date, I believe. So I think it was 22. 22 was the if you needed a refund, you needed to file that by April 15th of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't file, you lose your refund. Now, your household's gonna be pretty cold if your spouse loses the refund. And in many cases, the spouse is gonna demand that you give them their money back. I mean, it just works like that. So sometimes, some households, it works like that. It's like, I need my money. I need my refund. No, I ain't got. I'm all messing around with your business stuff. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I need my money. For some households, not everybody, but some households, right? So you know, you gotta like pay attention to these things, folks. I think that's the big thing we want to take away is pay attention to these things. Don't let it go. But there is, and we have newly designed, my friend, a 5-step path to getting right. To get right. Because at some point you have to get right. You have to get you have to get these things correct. Right. So you can't sit around with your head in the sand, as Miss Cooper spoke, and you can't sit around it because the world, the tax world keeps going. Like it doesn't done. So we have a method for you to get right. Believe it or not, people. It's a method to get right. Broken down into 5 steps to get you there. And they're pretty simple. I'm not gonna put them on the screen right now. But they're pretty simple. They're 5 steps. I'm gonna go through them.
One of those today's cost of 606.
Yeah, well, before I get to them.
Well, there's 6 steps.
Well, it's 5 here, but it's the path back. But check it out. Word with me. We'll fill in the other one. So the first step, which is most important, is to gather your records. Bank statements, prior filings, payroll data, notices you already received from the IRS. You have to gather your records. No one can do your tax return off your memory. Point blank. End of the story. Someone that's credentialed or what have you, experienced tax preparer is not going to be doing this off your memory. You're going to have to provide something. PBC, we call it, provided by a client. You got to give us some information to do this, or else you're guessing, and all that. Then we have to reconstruct what's missing. All right. We got to put it together. Now, I want people to understand, if you come up with like 5 years of stuff, so let's say 6 years, that's what we got to go back 6 years. 6 years of recreating your books each year. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. So, see, I love the people that haven't filed. All right, I'm not going to go there. See, I stopped myself. I was about to say something, but I'll stop myself. I'm not going to go there. But we have to reconstruct what's missing, and we reconstruct it from the data that you sent, and then we need to file the oldest to the newest because sometimes things carry over. Things have to go into, we have to put more stuff in there. You never know, year to year, and they affect years. And often there's probably a tax code change somewhere. If you have a 6-year period, you got a tax code change. So do that. Deal with any notices.
Is that 4?
Deal with 4.
No. If it's not, keep going.
No, well, yeah. 4 is address IRS notices. Number 4, address IRS notices. The worst thing you can do with an IRS notice is not respond to it. Let's look at it this way. Someone owes you money. You send them one, text, whatever. Send them one. Hey, you ain't paying me my money. Then you send another text. Hey, just remind you know, you haven't paid me my money. Then you do a phone call, which they send them voicemail. They not picking up. Hey man, listen, I'm not playing. You got, you know, like you haven't paid my money. Look, I'm gonna call you back next week. I need you to pick up when I call. You call back next week. They pick up and say, "Oh yeah, man. Something call. Can I call you right back?" Now, as a sidebar, listen, they ain't calling you back. By the way, this just they're not calling you back. So eventually, you was like, "What? I'm pulling up," and you pulling up. My point is that through each one of those communications, your the majority of us, our demeanors are not going to be the same. We're not going to be cool. By the time I got to come to your house to get my money, I'm not going to be a happy camper. Well, let's look at the IRS notices the same way. They go to the point to eventually, I will tell you this, the IRS takes a long time to garnish. Once they garnish, it's like a pit bull. They ain't letting you go. They squeeze on it. There's a long way to do it. So the more that you can stack those letters up and ignore and not even holler, it's going to be bad on the back end. If you want to deal with the notice, either yourself or with a trained professional firm.
Professional firm.
Yeah, but you cannot ignore these notices like at all. You can't ignore them because it's not going away. It's just like we said with the filing. It's not, you got to file. All right. And then number 5, set up a payment plan. So this is once again, we do your business returns, we flow it down to your personal, you come back, owe $65,000 for all the years. Not bad. It's about 10 grand a year, right? For these 6 years. So you owe the money. Chances are you don't have all that money right now. There's a chance some people have it, but some people, let's say you don't have it. Which was one of the reasons you didn't file in the first place, because you're like, I can't pay it, so I'm not going to file. That's another reason that comes up. Well, that's not acceptable either. You should always file because the IRS takes payment plans. Now, if you watch, I used to watch court shows all the time. If you watch them all the time and you see the places where people are like, the IRS put out this new rule for streamlining your agreements and all that stuff. There's a kernel of truth to that. But listen, they make agreements. Okay. They make agreements. And we'll do a show in a little more depth with different things because we've all heard this word offer and compromise. But I just want to say this one thing about offer and compromise. Think about who's making the compromise. It's not you. It's the United States Treasury. Keep that in mind. Because I've had people I have literally had people tell me, man, they ought to be happy with whatever I give them. Yeah, okay. You see how happy we are when they start taking your stuff. It's it's a law. We pay taxes by law, people. It's a law in the United States. We're required to pay income taxes. That's what we're required to do. I don't care what you read about who doesn't pay, who pays less than you, whatever. That does nothing to do with you. You have to pay taxes. Okay, that's what you have to do. If you make a profit, you pay taxes, most likely. I'm just trying to keep it simple. You're going to pay. All right. So, offers of compromise, yeah, but there's different tools that we have to try to get this payment resolved. Ultimately, you want to be compliant. But those are the 5 steps. So, that's our method. Then you might say, well, well, you know the next question, the number one question that comes from that, and I'm going there today. So it's the number one question.
How much is this going to cost?
There you go. You said that. How much is this going to cost? Well. Well, I'm going to go there because number one, we're just going to talk about ourselves. Listen, your business tax returns, if you have an S-Corp or a partnership, they started $2,000 per year. Okay. Number one. So if you're putting your budget together, say our person needed, $65,000 is what their taxes came out to. We did the business 6 years, 12 grand. And then the individuals start at about 1,000. So, it's about 18,000 taxes. Actually, that'd be pretty nice. If anybody got that scenario, if they call tomorrow, this special number, we might be able to do something for you. Because that'd be a nice lick right now. Get that in. We might have some smiling faces around here. Get that go. But I digress. The point is, you're going to have to spend money at this stuff. And this is not including getting your books together. You do your books. Now I remember what number 6 was now. Yeah, so number it doesn't include doing your books. But these are the fees that incur with this. Like this stuff, business owners, taxes are not an option for you. They're not an option. Like it's not optional. No taxpayer is an option. Yeah. It's no one's an option. So you're looking at that, and then you're looking at some time to get it done too. It takes us a while to get it done. So, this is a serious thing. But it could be straight, and then we fix. No, so look, you're looking at 2,000. You know how it costs. It's like 2,000, and then 1,000, at least 1,000 to do your return, just straight compliance return. Okay, so 3,000 a year on average. Don't quote us. It starts at those numbers. Okay, so that's I want you to know. But then there becomes a next issue here is how do I keep this from happening again? And this is probably the most important part of the subject because you don't want to end up in this position again. It's useless. Look, we've already paid $255. Then this is with a solo S-Corp as our example. $255 a month. I believe it caps out on certain number of months, but it may not. $255 a month you've paid per month, right there. You have your tax with failure to file, failure to pay on the individual side. All these things. But you know what people usually get back to? They get back to our fee. But I'm like, dude, you this is self-inflicted. You did this to yourself. So now you're asking somebody to come in and fix it. And guess what? That's not going to be free either. So just got to kind of work with it. But you don't want to get back to this. You would hope after this possibly $85,000, $90,000 experience that you would figure a way to keep your books up and keep at minimum, keep them up so that you don't have this problem. And then that's when we would roll you into a BYOB program, be your own bookkeeper, so that you keep up with what's going on. Different show, different story. Talk about that. But it doesn't have to do that. You have to keep up with these books. So I think the takeaway for me is this. Look, one, you got to file your taxes. Just period. You got to file them because there's two aspects to tax administration: filing and paying. You have to do both. Two, the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost you. And three, you have to put in a system. A system. We talk about systems a lot. Put together a system so that you don't end up back in this situation. Now, those are the things. People, I know there's a lot of good, talented people out here with businesses and things. And this is, quite frankly, this isn't interesting. It's not, it's not interesting. What do I get for paying my taxes?
It's the unsexy. Yeah.
Oh, it's the unsexiest. I mean, it's just, oh my gosh, it is bland, whatever. Insert food. It's the worst. But people want to know, what am I getting for this? They feel like they're getting, they feel like they're paying. They feel like they're paying for nothing. Which is, but folks, gotta do it. Gotta do it. There's a constitutional amendment that says we have to do it. And there are a lot of people that find ways to pay as little as possible or nothing. But don't believe everything you hear in the media. Please don't. Please. Just don't. Because number one, it has nothing. Unless they're doing a story on you and how much you're paying in taxes, don't believe that stuff. Your circumstance doesn't matter. That stuff is put out there to entertain or it's not really out there to inform. It's there to
that's all it is.
Yeah, it's out there to give you a little taste of the truth and then go for it. Anyway, that's unfiled taxes. Now we do have
Hold on, before you move on. Any questions from the chat? From the chat. Any watchers? Anybody have a question? Drop it in the chat.
Yeah, drop it in the chat. Even if you're watching this recorded, put it in the chat.
Yeah,
we'll get back. We monitor it. We will answer it in the chat.
Email us down below with your questions.
Oh yeah. This is that. We're pushing the interaction this year, this second half of the year, because we're here to answer your questions. So that's it. And then when you have look, I'm about to rebrand you on air, son. Got you rebranded. I'm telling you. Oh, so look, and we talked about a system. When you have someone like the coach here, who for small businesses is a management consultant. That's right on time. Yes, we do. Through our partner here. He's going by Growth Lab because he's being he's being coy about it. But it's biz therapy, man. Biz therapy coaching, which I thought, I was thinking about this yesterday because I was doing some research and all that. And a lot of what's being offered in what makes biz therapy different is that it's like management consulting. It is for small businesses. Like it's because one of the big challenges of management is personnel. And when you're the only personnel, it's difficult to manage yourself. But we all need to be managed in a certain way, whether it's through a system or a process or philosophy. So, looking into, we use the term coaching, but that's because of the scope, kind of the size we're talking about. But it's really consulting. And I suggest it because we get to the root of why was this a blind spot for you? Like, why, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a blind spot. You don't understand, and there may be other ones that some of the other services we have can help you with. So I definitely highly encourage, but yeah, man, management consultant. It sounds snazzy, You know what I'm saying? A lot more interesting than sounds a lot more interesting than IRS resolution or something.
Hmm.
But be
Yeah,
but
it's
you know,
all of it is still a process and doing some work too, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you gotta want to do the work.
but people like consultants. You know, I mean, think about it. In the people like saying, "Well, I hired a consultant to help me." You know,
Nah, I don't need the fluff. I'm an integrator. Let's go.
yeah,
Let's get
well,
it.
see, this is where you have to understand. It's not about how you present yourself; it's how they talk about you. See, that's the thing. That's the difference. So the thing is how they and with their perception and like how it says it because it's moving these things that are not thought about and saying, okay, how do I accept this? For I mean, a lot of people need external validation. So
True,
they
true.
how they say that goes out. So it's even for the point with BYOB. Yeah, is be your own bookkeeper. So on surface, you sound like I don't want to be my own bookkeeper. Well,
Right,
so that says on top. But what I'm saying is that we're not teaching you to be a bookkeeper. You're gonna be
right,
your own bookkeeper with
right,
our guidance.
right,
So we've set up a program so that you can be your own bookkeeper, but it's not like a traditional bookkeeper. And
right,
if you have to be a bookkeeper, if you have an actual bookkeeper, or you assign someone to be as a bookkeeper, we serve in the role to help guide them. But it's once again, it's their perception of what it is. Like
right.
what's this? So it's and we're dealing with a lot of folks that there's a lot of businesses being open and started right now. And they are people are looking for ways to feel good about them. Because oh man, I don't even want to get. You know what? I think I'm gonna come on KWK for the stuff for the research I did yesterday. I'm gonna
Conversations with Core. You
yeah,
gonna
I'm
come on there?
gonna come
Yeah.
over there. Yeah, we're gonna talk some. I'll get my quarterly spot. Um, where we talked about
It's this Thursday at 12:30, folks.
yeah
Uh,
that on the
Biz
Biz
Therapy Coaching,
channel.
Biz Therapy Coaching on YouTube.
Yeah, so no, I did some research on profit margins. So in by industry and it's for people to understand. You know, I think the big thing is people don't understand business all the way live. Like like they get the basic level and then it gets into what they do and they don't dig any deeper. But you know what? That's why we here. That's what we here for. We here. We'll help you dig deeper. But you know. So look, put your questions down in the comments. We'll put the link to the landing page that goes over the 5 steps to dealing with unfiled business returns and a link to schedule a consultation. Folks, we want you to schedule a consultation. Get your stuff together. If you have back taxes, get your stuff together. Come see us. We can help you and put a stop to this non-compliance that you've been doing. So that's that. Any final words from you?
Yeah, Founders Hour. Founders Hour, right? That's every other Thursday, opposite KWK. We have some interesting conversations inside Founders Hour as well. It's not recorded, it's not a course, it's just hardcore simplicity. Hardcore simplicity. Bring your stress and your anxiety. That's the hardcore. The simplicity part is you get to have a conversation with other founders, other people, other like minds, get different opinions, get different understandings, get some insight that you never even thought of. And we're all faced with the same questions. So imagine understanding how other people look at those questions and answer those questions, or go about getting the answers to those questions. So this hours, that's every other Thursday at 1 o'clock. Go to the website biztherapycoaching.com, grab up the link, or go to social media handle. Everything is at Biz Therapy, BIZ Therapy Coaching. Check us out, tap in, let's move the needle. Time's getting tight. and they're gonna get tighter. So we need to know what we're
Probably.
doing. We need to know what we're doing, and we need to, make sure that we have each other, because all we have at the end of the day is people. Without no people, you don't have a business. Without no people, you don't have a community. Without people, you don't. So what's the common denominator? Remember those formulas back in school, right? If you
Mm.
if you did that math, but I
Yeah.
digress from there.
We out. Peace. See
Peace.
you see you Thursday.
Yep.
Peace.